off. I used to do the intro for mine, but let me see. Alduin, can you get your asshole off of my camera? Thank you.
That's it. Start like right there. Like, can you start with asshole? Get off the camera.
Ahoy, mateys! Welcome back to the Drunken Ship Podcast. I am BryanBrowny, and I'm here with Crockett, MonkeyOmega,
Hey, what's up?
Colin, and Tay Infinite.
Hey, how's it going?
Tay looks so fucking bummed right now. It's really bothering me.
We are doing good. Yeah, everything all right, Tay? You doing
Yeah, we're
good,
doing
bro?
all right.
Not really, but let's continue the show.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Probably
Life.
should have asked you off the mic, honestly.
Nice. I don't care.
Yeah,
We're gonna laugh at this.
Fuck it, we do it on.
With a sound bite.
We do it on air.
I feel you. Life is a pain in the ass lately. It has been nothing but a pain in the
very.
ass in the last 2 months.
Yeah. Or, well, especially the past couple of
Yeah,
days.
the past couple of days have been a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nothing new.
yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to avoid it and just kind of stay out of that shit. I haven't been on social media very much. Probably not a good way to go about it, just avoiding it and ignoring it. But I'm doing
It's the
it.
millennial way. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much else I can really do right now, so I'm trying to keep my head up. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. As one of the, the few brown people in my circle that are dealing with this shit, I relate. Anyway, today's topic, let's just jump right into it, because today we're going to be talking about celebrating, or really like just looking back at the last console generation, because PS5 comes out in the next week.
Yeah.
We are
next couple-
officially from
next
today.
week or
Fuck
two,
yeah!
yeah.
Wait. Yes, it finally worked. I've been trying to download Apex for the last 3 hours because
Oh.
my stupid SSD would not recognize it, and I had to. Oh wait.
Oh
wait,
no, is it not gonna?
wait. No.
Oh no.
All right. Okay, I think it worked. I had to delete it off my fucking from my C drive to my D drive. Completely had to move it over, and I'm like, is this gonna work? Because I was trying to just download the update to my D drive, and it just would not do it. So I completely move all my Origin games, just delete it all or copy it into my SSD, and then fucking download it again, and then it finally worked. I just put all the files in the same place.
That sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
It is. It was such a pain in the ass.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, we're 1 week away from next gen. I can't believe it's here. I don't know why I'm not hyped as much as I feel like I should be.
Is it just general the malaise of growing up, or is it just that the marketing has sucked?
Yeah, I think it's us growing up. Yeah, that's what I think
honestly,
it
I
is.
think the marketing for next generation has been absolute rubbish.
I haven't seen jack
Yeah.
shit in terms of advertising, except like the occasional article I see on Twitter, and then maybe something in my recommended on YouTube.
I've seen Xbox
That's
do a
it.
little bit of like trying to market and advertise, but it's like hitting the nostalgia. Like Xbox is going really hard for the nostalgia feeling. And I think that it's because
Yeah.
they don't have shit going on in terms of products.
Yeah, I was about to say they have
No.
dick-free games right now.
They've
They couldn't even get fucking Halo Infinite out in time. Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can't even get Halo off the ground.
One
right now.
game. They had one game to come out swinging, and
I know.
damn, they down bad.
That's
I
all
mean,
people
real
ask for
bad.
is Halo.
It's
As the episode, as we're recording this, the Xbox Series X and S embargo went up today, and the reviews, the console is great, but it just have nothing to play this fall. So, which I pretty much said for.
I've heard that.
There's nothing
yeah.
the validated consoles purchase at the moment. So, but it runs
it feels
backwards
like
compatibility and games really well. It's fast, it's strong, but some people say that's not even worth it. Jason Schreier, ex Kotaku worker, he says, kind of save your money. But it's not a bad device.
Yeah, like wait it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's-
that was like, we just hold back for now, because I mean, there's nothing pushing that power.
But the first few
No.
months,
Which
of,
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, any game right now is not going to be pushing power. So like if you do flip side on like PS5, so I mean, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Demon Souls, they look pretty, yes, but they're not really pushing what this console can actually do.
But it's not about
I mean, they're
pushing the power of the console at this point. It's about having something the console can play that isn't available on last gen, or that incentivizes people to play
something that's not a remaster or a port, essentially, like an actual PS5 exclusive or an Xbox, a next gen exclusive, essentially.
Yeah, so it's it looks like.
And Xbox has nothing.
Yeah, and I think that this goes back to what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, where like people are doing all these like media-centric consoles and media-centric games hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that because they're focusing so much on getting all of this, like, you know, the media center of the product, the gaming aspect of it is kind of subsided. Microsoft has not been a gaming centered game console since the half of the lifespan of the Xbox One. We saw barely any exclusives for the Xbox One, and the games that we saw that were exclusive were old IPs like Gears of War, and then the biggest thing that Xbox had in its lifetime was the Halo Master Chief Collection, and that's on PC now.
Yeah, because they've got the Microsoft Xbox like crossover.
Yeah, but it's even on Steam. Like I just bought it on Steam.
Microsoft's focus.
Oh, it's on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on Steam. Microsoft's focus this generation, and you can clearly see it with the Xbox Series S is a Game Pass. That's their main priority. They're not even concerned with Nintendo or PlayStation anymore. It's about service games.
Yeah, I think Xbox is honestly looking really hard at the streaming games thing.
It's Game Pass.
While it seems like PlayStation and Nintendo, you know, not necessarily are ignoring it, but yeah, they're more traditional with it. I think Xbox is going for the almost all digital sort of idea here with Game Pass.
Which really sucks the consumer, because I want to own my shit. You know?
Yeah. Apparently Game Pass, some games can leave the service.
They take them out of the service all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Netflix, bro.
Yeah, they have rotations.
You get like a couple new games a month, and they also take away a few games every month.
And I've been saying this forever, like
or whatever.
Game Pass feel like a $5 DVD bin at Walmart. That's what it feels like. A lot of content, but garbage content.
Yeah.
But I think personally, Game Pass is worth it in terms of like the quantity of content.
Yeah, you get quantity
Game Pass is almost Game Pass is almost always on sale. You can find it for less than asking price. You can usually find it for a fucking $1. No problem. And I mean, yeah, most of the games might not be great, and they're probably oldies, like old Xbox 360 titles and stuff. But I mean, what does Game Pass have? Like over like hundreds of titles? I mean, I'm sure you can find something to keep your attention.
What's really gonna make like Game Pass really bang is when they start throwing exclusives on that bitch, like new release games on Game Pass.
Yeah. I think they will do.
That's going to be like the real thing that's going to really loop people in once they start pulling some shit like that.
But the thing is, I don't even know if
that's literally what a... Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say that I don't even know if that's going to hold, because unless you do all of your in-house development to release for specifically Game Pass, there's third-party development rights, third-party development payments that you got to consider. I don't know if it's a viable business model.
Well, I mean, like for anything first party can go on there.
Gotcha.
No problem.
I guess that's true. What were you gonna say, Tay?
Nothing third party.
That's guaranteed. Third party. What people was questioning is like, are they still getting paid? And quality amount, which they are. They've actually confirmed that. Because people think you're getting these quality games for $1, which is not the case. They're still getting paid from Microsoft just to put them up there.
Yeah.
So they get something back. But
I mean, Microsoft's a juggernaut company.
Microsoft, when it comes to gaming, they're the most unpredictable. You have no idea what they're going to do. So that's the thing, like, cause I already stated this gen before next gen started. Microsoft's going to come back hard this gen. It's coming up.
I want them
to,
but I'm also,
this generation.
They did. Yeah. They did. I bought an Xbox One and I regretted it a year after.
Yes, Sony just destroyed them, and it was kind of. Microsoft kind of gave them like just let them win, because when Microsoft first came out, it was the always online thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then Sony said we're not doing that, which they technically did, but they cut it last minute apparently.
Didn't Xbox One also like launch with like it had to have Kinect compatibility or whatever, and then they eventually got rid of that later on. People didn't want the fucking Kinect thing.
No. They kind of like had a terrible head start, and after that Sony just kept going. Then that's not even just about games. That's just overall like service and hardware.
That's just the hardware.
Yeah. Then the games came around, and we already know that story with the games. And I think that's for me personally.
I personally think
what's up?
I was gonna say PlayStation blew them out of the water this gen with games in terms of games.
Far. Yeah, and it's like Microsoft really needs those IPs, and you know, like I'm not hating on the Halo franchise, but Halo isn't how it used to be back then. It's still a great large franchise, but it's not what people think anymore. They want something new.
It's not
refresh. Need fresh.
Yeah, it's not like crazy hype.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's not crazy hype as it was.
No, I mean there's hype. I'm not saying like it's dead or nothing. It's just not how it used to be 316 previously.
Mm-hmm.
No, and
you know.
And I was a huge Halo fan, and I definitely think it has to be with the switch from being a Bungie-owned property to a 316 property in terms of development.
343.
343, sorry, 343. It just sort of derailed the franchise and let it burn into like a sci-fi COD and like what made Halo feel like Halo.
There was definitely a shift, yeah.
And I didn't like it.
See, I like Halo 4, but I understand the complaints completely.
I like Halo 4 too.
Well, when it went over to 5, that's when it went full like on Halo, or not Halo, but Call of Duty.
Yeah, I didn't love Halo 5. I love the story. I love the elements of the game, but it's one of those things. So like when you have a franchise, especially if you like Xbox One X now, is that Xbox One X?
Xbox.
Their marketing is fucked. By the
Series
way,
X.
They're
they know.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know, Amazon. People brought Xbox One X out of Series X out of confusion on Amazon.
I wouldn't be surprised because it's Xbox One X, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. It's fucking stupid.
So stupid.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
It's definitely a jumbled mess.
Which doesn't help when it comes to the matter of selling hype. I have seen more hype for the PS5 and in the form of memes and just general cultural excitement over the PS5 than I've seen over any of the Xbox consoles and even the Switch. And the Switch was really hype. I remember people being really hype about the Switch. And I feel like PS5, Sony took advantage of meme marketing. And they saw that people were memeing the shit out of them, and they kind of joined the party in that. And they just let it happen. And now they have all this massive fucking hype about their console. And I think that's the smartest thing they could have done. Because I don't think anyone's truly excited for next gen.
I mean, I am, but the feeling is different because it feels more. It feels like, I guess because they give you so many options nowadays.
It feels a little unceremonious.
I don't know if it's COVID or something, but it's different. But there's excitement.
I think that has a lot to deal with it because we didn't have a traditional E3. I don't know. It just kind of feel like everything this year has been phoned in. This is like the worst year for a fucking console launch. The absolute worst.
I actually disagree. I think it's the best year for a console launch.
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah.
You think it's the best year?
The marketing suffered. The E3 didn't happen. The gaming conventions and shit like that didn't happen. But what year to better sell a console than the year when people are locked in their houses looking for any distraction that'll give them a crumb of serotonin?
Yeah, and they just announced something about the second wave is going to be all online.
Yeah.
Good luck to those people.
Everybody's inside ordering shit online anyways. They just order the console. Yeah. And that's why the Black Friday sales are going to be all online.
Like I remember
which there was already like a Black Friday sale, which is Cyber Monday, but I guess it's going to be Cyber Weekend or whatever.
It's like Cyber Month for Amazon.
Yeah. Black Friday's not the same this year. I don't think they're even doing Black Friday in stores this year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Some places aren't being open.
Fucking good because Black Friday is a goddamn nightmare.
I hate Black Friday.
It's so dumb.
Really disgusting holiday.
It's the worst American holiday ever.
Very, I agree by far.
It's not a holiday. Stop calling
It
it
is a
that.
bloody holiday.
That's what people literally eat, then walk off and go to freaking Walmart to get some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even celebrate the holiday previously.
And then they fucking
care about
clock
the
each
food.
other in the
Was it
nose for
consumerism?
TV. Yeah.
No, it's they get
awful.
they get full on some turkey, right? They sleep off that itis nap, and then they wake up and they're ready to go brawl at the Walmart.
Because it usually starts around 6 o'clock.
Dude, I know they got all that.
Yeah.
Night.
You got to burn
got all
off some
that-
calories by punching
I
a
know, I
baby
was gonna say,
like an infinite
yeah.
in the head 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you burning off fat by throwing some bows.
God damn.
No, I mean, like, I think the excitement comes from what we already have now. Like, for PlayStation, people are excited for PS5 because what Sony's going to offer with the games.
Yeah.
Sequels to games, be like Spider-Man, as example, Horizon, whatever, Ratchet and Clank.
Isn't
Xbox, on the
Clank.
other hand, I guess Xbox's main focus is accessibility. Play these games everywhere. Your phone, your PC, and your console. Which
Yeah.
maybe I'm just old school, but I just don't. Like, for us, all of us here, I'm pretty sure, we don't need Xbox Series X. Play it on your PC,
Yeah, we don't.
which is great.
No.
But in a sense, like, doesn't that kind of defeat the point of Xbox Series X? I guess it's because it's cheaper, I guess. But
Well, I'm guessing.
because I was going to buy Halo Infinite this year, but it got delayed, so I'm playing my PC.
I think that Xbox is trying to tap into the market of people that are the opposite of us, like the opposite of PC gamers and people that are like really invested into the technology and kind of making their games accessible everywhere to bite into different demographics. I don't think Xbox has a demographic control over one corner of the gaming market. I think that they're spreading a lot of branches into, like you said, mobile and PC and traditional console gaming, and then doing the media access to through the console as well, and get some licensing revenue that way. But I don't know. I feel like Xbox's approach, and I say Xbox even though I'm really talking like Microsoft, but Microsoft's approach in regards to gaming has been too out of focus for me. I haven't been able to see what their intent is.
I feel like Microsoft is like a giant octopus and it has all its tentacles in different slices of the pie.
Yeah.
Like they're an ever morphing phenomenon for me. As like with Xbox One when it launched, it was a all-in-one, which that was a naming convention for it. Xbox One, all in one. So your media center. You could plug up your cable into that fucking box and you could switch back from game to and they kind of have that cornered market stone, because this generation, if you wanted to, I know from most people, whoever had an Xbox One, not me personally, but majority of people, they would use that for their media center. That would be like their all-in-one. So if they wanted to play a game, they could, or if they wanted to watch Netflix or YouTube or whatever, it would be through their Xbox.
I never
so
met anybody
it really,
that did that.
I think at the end of its life, it really hit that mark of it was a kind of like all-in-one brand or media center for them.
Which I never met anybody. My experience with Xbox was not that. My experience with Xbox and everyone around me was like they would plug it in, they would get excited about the all-in-one aspect of it, having to do everything through the Xbox, and then getting everything connected and running through the Xbox is such a pain in the ass that they just bought a fucking Roku. It's
right.
The concept,
Like
the theory that Xbox went for with the Xbox One was really nice, like tapping into the all-in-one, but they didn't. Their software is clunky. The Xbox One dashboard lags. Is user unfriendly.
Can we talk about the dashboard for a second? Just how just a gross thing it has become, of ever morphing into like they would change the dashboard every 6 months, and it was so beyond annoying. So I think I stopped playing my Xbox once for like 6 months, came back, it had changed 7 different ways, serious? And I had no idea how to fucking use it.
I remember with the Xbox 360, that was a huge issue. They changed it like 5 times in the last year and a half of the console being out.
But it was never game breaking. I remember like playing on my 360 and it was never like grossly offended. It was still like pretty. I had like a user
interface.
User inter.
The user interface.
Yeah, it was like pretty user friendly, as in a sense of like I kind of just knew where to
Right.
go. I can't think of the word for it. But with like Xbox One, when they would change it, I had no idea how to fucking function. It was nothing was just like, oh yeah, totally, it would just be over here or something. No, it was never like
Which
that.
I think is something
I
that
think PS4.
Go ahead.
I think PS4 had 2 updates of UI.
I think so too, but they weren't
I can
egregious. They
remember.
weren't like obnoxious updates. They were all very like
Yeah.
quality of life.
Just sleeker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really quite like. My only problem with the PS4 dashboard, and it's because I have an original PS4, is that it lags behind a little bit. But nothing as bad as the Xbox.
No, I have a PS4 Slim, and it lags like a nonstop. There's like a big
mine's a
fucking
first
delay.
model. Yeah, mine's a first model. Especially when I hit the PlayStation button, it'll freeze for like 2 seconds and then open
and that's
up.
annoying as hell too.
I'm not
But it's
never
also so old.
experienced that.
It's also
One
like
second, guys.
it's also like 6 years old.
Yeah.
You haven't had any issues out of it, Tay?
My only issue is like the loud jet engine thing. That's all my issue I have with PS4.
Apparently, that's bad with the pros. I don't know.
But that
if
for
it's-
me, that depends on the game too. For
The
me,
games.
some games it kicks on that fan into fucking overdrive, and then other times it's quiet as hell.
It
just
started
depends on
last
the
year
See,
game.
for me. Yeah.
See, this is where we all differ because I've not had any issues with my heating for my
Really?
Slim.
They say it's
No, I haven't had
actually
any.
dust.
I haven't had any heating problems.
Wait, is my PS4 is older than all of you guys though, isn't it? Because I have the first PS4. I got
I
my
have the first
2013.
PS4.
You guys both have launch PS4s.
Yeah, I have launch PS4.
Yeah. I went through. This is my second one because the first one had the blue line of death or whatever.
That's the thing.
So yeah, like the original one, you know how it had that blue strip.
Yeah.
There was a thing that if you were to power on your PlayStation, it would just continuously do that, and you would just have a black screen, nothing would load.
Mm.
So I went back and they just swapped it out for a new one, and that's the one I've had since.
Yeah.
But that was the only issue I had. On this one, I don't have any issues with. There's no heating. I eventually, like, I think just within the past few months, I finally had to go and get an external hard drive for it.
Yeah.
Just so I could have all my games now.
Yeah, I did external thing
Okay.
in 2015. I got a terabyte in there, and there's like 200 gigabytes left. So, well,
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the closet next week.
Yeah.
I don't need
But
it.
also, I share it with my roommates and stuff too, so it's got all of our files on there.
Yeah.
Or all of our save data or whatever.
Bryan,
But I haven't had any issues with my
Sorry about that. I
PS4.
had to take a phone call.
do you have a Switch,
Me?
Bryan?
Yeah, I do. I fucking love the Switch.
Yeah, but say, how do you feel about the Switch? I never. Really,
I love
I
it,
think
dude.
it's the hardware for Nintendo needs a little bit of work. I think it's not as reliable as we want it to be.
I think
Yeah.
the marketplace and dashboard.
Okay, I'm also gonna say that a lot of people need to take a step back. I'm as hard on Nintendo as the next dude. I hate Nintendo with a passion.
Some hard
but I
words.
love it. I love them. But I think that, you know, this is also one of those. It's an at-home / portable
Yeah.
console, and there's only so much you can cram into that tiny fucking thing without it being horribly oversized, like a fucking iPad.
My
or
main
something.
problem with the Switch is not anything software related. It's all hardware. Because the
Mine now, I have a launch
Mhm.
Switch. I just recently got
Right.
a new one, the updated one. My only issue with it is that after about 2 hours, it gets pretty damn hot.
Is that in handheld mode or is that in docked mode?
That's in dock
Interesting.
mode. After about, because sometimes I'll do some Switch streams, and usually by the time I'm done with my stream,
Like
my
fucking
Switch
melting.
is pretty hot.
And that's on the
Yeah.
newer version, correct?
No,
That's
that's the old
The
version.
new
Oh,
version fixed that.
version.
I don't experience any sort of heat sink issues with the new Switch.
Yeah. The new one's got a better
Yeah.
battery too.
The peripherals for the Switch, like the Joy-Cons and the rails, are, usually a source of problem because the rail fucks up, and usually one of the Joy-Cons doesn't connect in handheld mode, and so the Joy-Con drift.
Or they're wiggly while they're in handheld mode. I had that issue.
The hardware is just like the hardware still needs some figuring it out to do. But in terms of like software, I think Nintendo cracked it for me. I don't want anything too complicated. I don't want a media console to take on the go. I just kind of want to play the games that I really like that they offer. And the fact that it's cartridge based means that it's delicious for that. I love owning physical medium of my games. And I think Nintendo Switch is the best one that lends itself to that, because you don't have to install. You don't have to do anything. You can literally just play it, which is what I missed the most about Sony and Xbox. So like, now you have to put in a game and then you have to wait 3 hours for the fucking thing to install. And it's just it's a pain in the dick.
With the disc, with like Xbox and PlayStation, it's literally just the downloaded version. The disc is just more of a front, honestly. It's like there's no real media on that disc.
It's just the license for you to play it.
Throw the disc, right, and then you could just get that from the marketplace by just downloading it onto your PS4 or Xbox.
Which I hate, because I like owning physical medium, but then Sony and Xbox are pushing digital medium really hard, and I don't mind digital mediums, but I feel like for a consumer it's a dangerous spot, because like Netflix, you don't own any of the movies that are going to be available in the store or not. So you're paying for a license to play for a game that might be taking off of the storefront if the publishers and the developers run into a legal disagreement, and then the copyright is no longer viable for the company putting it in the storefront.
Also, my big thing to add to that, the digital medium, is there's no way to refund it or secondhand sell it.
And that's why
you can't resell it, right? Like, I don't understand how you can't, like, with Steam, with the PlayStation Network, why you can't resell those rights back, and they give you what, maybe 50% back.
It's all,
like, say you pay $10 for it, but they give you like maybe $2 or $3 in return for
companies and stuff. Like, I don't think they really control that.
But it just doesn't make sense why I have, like, okay, say I downloaded a game, whoops, this game actually sucks, I don't want it anymore.
That was me.
I can't return it.
Freaking hate that game, and I pay $60. I try to be different.
Steam is good though. I have returned games through Steam. Usually they have a decent return policy, but some places like the Switch, PlayStation Network, some of them are like, you can't even download the game, otherwise that breaks the return policy.
Steam give you like 7 days to a month, right, to return or something like that.
No, they give you like, I think it's like 3 days.
Yeah.
They give.
I think they extended that. I think it's like 7 days.
I think so, and they
I thought it was like 14.
I think you can call customer support though and dispute it, and then they'll usually cave in.
Steam is how digital games should be distributed. They still had the best.
I totally agree.
Which I mean, they've also been doing digital games like the longest out of
because it makes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're really right now with like digital games and how all this works, and like kind of like the death of GameStop, where it kind of like entering in a new age. And we're in the infancy state of it, so we've not really worked out any of the kinks or anything like that. Which I do want to loop back to the beginning about how Xbox at launch, Xbox One, this gen, they were going to say like they were moving it steps with the Xbox One is going to be on online only. Yeah. And they were chastised for that. But I think what happened was they were just ahead of the curve on that. Because now you can't really even get anything to play without being online.
Well, I think they did it.
So you can. Just the way they step it.
Consoles have slowly moved in that direction regardless. It was just ahead of the curve.
I think it's more a sense where they think people are always connected to the internet, but it's not how Microsoft thought it was. Just because I have internet doesn't mean I'm on the internet. That's what Microsoft's thinking. Like, why? Like, say if Sony did it, why should I play Spider-Man when I have internet on? Even if my internet went out, the Xbox One would be useless.
Yeah.
Back then, at least. But like,
yeah, it
and
break.
Still now,
it wouldn't
still
work.
now. The fact that you, as a consumer, have to always be online in order to access software that you have bought is insane to me as a consumer. It is frankly insane, because if I bought that product and I no longer have access to the internet and I can't pay that and I can't use that product, what am I paying for other than a fancy license for me to use that product at your discretion? It's completely asinine. I don't like the way that market is moving. When it comes to digital storefronts, I think
It's moving too fast.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's moving too fast. I just think it's moving into an anti-consumerist agenda, because the reason, let's be honest, the reason why the digital only medium started becoming attractive to companies is not because it's easier on the consumer. It's because consumers can no longer resell their games, open up rental shops with those products, and they can profit off of used titles. Therefore, developers make more money, and if they sell more product and they can force you to buy the product straight from the distribution center, they make more money off of that title. That's really all that it is. There's no convenience to the consumer. It's all.
Well, I mean, also, like, physical media has just become a product of its time.
No, it's not. I don't think physical media is primitive at all.
There's a fan.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's primitive. I'm just saying that it is a.
It's cheap to go digital.
It's cheap, yeah, and it's just like that was like a early 2000s, and you know, like CDs or cassettes or any like VHS, anything like those.
But hey, Jordan,
what's up?
The stores are still filled with DVDs. The stores are still filled with CDs.
Right.
I
know, but I'm just saying that we're slowly progressing. We're getting smaller and thinner products to the point where we just have nothing, which is just streaming. And
Crockett's right. I mean, hardware is evolving to a point where it doesn't accommodate for physical media all that well. You know, you can't
But I want to say, do not get me wrong. I go out and buy you a fucking Blu-ray DVD. Streaming will never compare to a fucking Blu-ray.
It won't.
Dude, Blu-ray anime movies are way better than streaming by far.
Yeah, bro. When that DVD movie pops up on the goddamn screen, it's so nice, dude. Playing some like the movie soundtrack or something, you get some nice little clips from the movie. It's nice, dude.
Right.
I mean, but
it's nice.
I'm a big advocate for fucking buy your movies.
It depends on how lucky you are in that, because like The Boys is 4K. And I was watching it 4K with no problems. Yeah. But I still would prefer the physical copy. It just depends on your really internet, though. So
it is a matter of accessibility. I just think that the way that distribution is headed is very precarious to the consumer, and I am concerned that licensing will keep getting more and more anti-consumer. But I do like the convenience of watching something like The Boys on 4K. I mean, I have a 4K Netflix plan because I enjoy being able to like immediately access something.
So stupid how Netflix handles that. Really Everyone
dumb.
Else does it for free.
It is very dumb.
But Bryan,
yeah, Netflix like charges you per screen and shit. So
for like digital games though, I would say the pros of it is like developers can actually fix bugs now.
Which is great.
Or it's cheaper deals than in-store deals. So those benefit the gamers.
I like the pros and cons.
But like back then, it's pros and cons with digital gaming. But I can see the negative too, like how they have more control now, and license is what people are scared of the most. Like that game, Scott Pilgrim, it returned after years, but it was you couldn't play it or find it nowhere because it was a digital only game.
Yeah.
But if we brought it back.
I think physical releases or of anything, DVDs, games mostly, are becoming more of a novelty that I've been seeing.
Yeah.
Especially like a lot of people like this year the past few years have been nothing but fucking nostalgia up the ass. You've got companies like Limited Run who re-release like N64 games, NES games. My big gripe is like physical games aren't like what they used to be. You used to get dope art, you used to get manuals, you used to get so much extra shit, and now you have to pay for a collector's edition or pay extra money just to get that.
That's true.
That's how Mario 3D All Stars felt. I brought it physical. You dumb, you buying it digital. 3D All Stars. Really stupid. You bought it digital.
Video All Stars.
I brought it physical for a reason because Mario.
Mario.
3D All Stars.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm straight to call you idiots. You brought it digital because.
But and you know what? Nintendo doing that shit is so dumb because you know what? That does not help Nintendo. That just helps scalpers and resellers. It just makes no sense to hold fucking all your shit behind a fucking vault when the only people who are making any sort of profit off of it are the assholes online or cheap ass fucking sellers at these dingy ass rental stores that are garbage. Or like try to upsell you, like, why am I paying $80 for a fucking copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day and it doesn't even have the fucking label? Get out of here, dude.
Colin's passionate about this. I love it.
You're pretty fucking insane.
We didn't get side topic. I'm kind of chilling back here.
Yeah.
So this the overall impression of this generation. What do you
I
think?
am personally really, really excited for the PS5, but I'm not excited for the PS5 yet. I'm excited for the PS5 6 months from now. I'm excited for the PS5 like
I mean, this generation we're on right now. Like, what do you
this
think so far?
generation,
Or-
Sony blew it out of the water. Xbox is
this generation.
garbage. And Switch hit a sweet spot for me. Where it was like, for me, the Switch hit what I wanted to do is like the games that I played in my childhood. It has that nostalgic element for me, and also the ability to take it over from me. I think Switch and Sony really blew it out of the water. I think Xbox fucked it. Xbox completely shot themselves.
I want to sound. I need a soundbite of Adam Sandler going, "You blew it." I think for this generation, game wise, I think this has been a phenomenal generation for games.
I think so too.
I mean, we had Breath of the Wild, we had God of War, we've had Spider-Man, Persona 5.
You never
I
see
mean,
it coming.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, a lot of good games made a comeback
true.
this gen too. Spyro came back,
Mario
Crash,
Odyssey, like,
Mario made a
Can I say
comeback.
that?
holy
Zelda
Just
made a
quick
comeback.
sidebar, Mario Odyssey, not as good a Mario as everybody wants it or feels like it is.
Excuse me?
Oh,
I think
shit,
it.
here we go.
I think it was too short. I played it in I beat it in like 2 hours.
I thought it was bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was boring.
All right. Thanks for watching this episode, guys.
All right. I need a fucking bell right now, so I can need to start the fight. All right, ding, go.
Brian.
All right. This is
CD
just gonna be like
Mario
an Among Us
All-Stars.
match.
I'm not
It's one of the best.
All right, state your case.
I'm not getting too into it. The mechanics are fantastic. The mechanics are great, but I feel like they were
Level design too.
no, level design was a bit
Go
rubbish.
on.
Level design was a bit rubbish. It was boring. It was fucking boring.
No, it wasn't.
I was running around.
It was very creative.
I mean, it's boring compared to Mario
I
Galaxy.
was running around like a little fucking twat, trying to catch some coins and some fucking moons. That, by the way,
All right, Brian.
Hey, Brian, do you know how to
Brian,
play
your
Mario?
2 minutes are up. Your 2 minutes up. All right, Tate, all right, your 2 minutes begin.
China, Russia.
All right, mute his mic.
Sleepy Joe. Oh, shut up, man. Nah,
I think Mario Odyssey
People know
is a well-designed game. I just didn't like it. It just did all the sensitivities of platformers that I enjoy were not present in Mario Odyssey.
Wow. Okay.
But it is. I'll give you that. It's a good game.
So it's a good game.
I didn't like it. I think it's garbage, but it is a well-designed game.
But you,
Listen, this is where I always fall short because people have a hard time grasping me saying that something is garbage, but that it's still good. I just think it's garbage.
I think
But your word is
garbage
good.
is like a very strong word. I think you say I think what Brian is trying to say, he disliked the game, but he acknowledged that it is a well-designed,
Thank you,
well-crafted
Crockett.
game.
it's
That
not
still
something
makes
he
no
wants.
sense.
It makes sense. It's not something he. It doesn't speak to him, but he acknowledges.
Yeah,
pros.
yeah, yeah.
That's like I am with Animal Crossing. I hate that game for passion, but I get it.
Tate's the only person I know on this planet Earth that hates Animal Crossing.
And I felt so bad. I felt contrarian.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
So you feel like you're gonna get lynched for saying
Yeah.
some shit like that.
All the
Animal
Animal
Crossing
Crossing
sucks,
stands fucking
but I
coming
get
for
it.
you. They're holding pitchforks in front of your house.
Yeah.
That's how I used to feel like when I said I didn't like turn-based games. They're like, "You what?"
Yeah, I used to call you out for that.
I know.
You freaking
but
American,
now
with
that
your
I
action RPG.
grew up, I grew
Yeah,
up into a beautiful young man, and
Wow.
Yeah.
I started playing.
I guess I
Fire
can't-
Emblem.
Any facet of ADHD, it is so hard to enjoy turn-based gaming.
I was gonna say, I guess I can't say anything about JRPGs.
I love JRPGs, but I can
Nope.
only play them like an hour at a time because my brain just fucking goes haywire.
Just
They're
so
overload.
I love them.
I just despise them with a passion.
When
Really?
Brian gets done playing a JRPG,
Yeah.
he's like making the egg face.
No, like I think this overall generation, as someone who playing games like majority of my life, to see video games mature is really fantastic. Like,
Totally agree.
the way these games are, like how they games. I know this sounds weird, but games back then just only meant just to play games stupidly, mindlessly, just to have fun, which is the point of a video game. But the way we do it now is like a different form of entertainment. It's like,
I think.
But yeah, I was gonna say now it's
really,
an experience.
Yeah, I think
You know, when
really
I play
we've-
Spider-Man, it's like watching a movie.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I think we've culminated into cinematic movie experiences into our games. So we've moved in, we've shifted into like with Last of Us Part 2 and God of War.
One of the best games I played this.
We've shifted into this interactive movie generation now, where it is you are playing a movie. You're playing an 8-hour movie.
and some people will argue that's a bad thing, but it's not. If you play God of War or Last of Us 2,
right, and God of War is one of the best examples for it. If you were just watching the story and kind of like just a walking simulator, that is like probably a bad execution of that game. But if you can somehow make a well-crafted story alongside with great mechanics that interact with that story and campaign, it will be a phenomenal game and game of the year. Hence, God of War.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I want to say, I am replaying through God of War again, right before PS5 comes out. I also wanted to mention, through some bizarre turn of events, both my DualShock 4s have Joy-Con drift.
That sucks. Dude, you just slammed your controllers into the wall when you get mad?
Yeah, are you throwing them, dude?
I don't know how. I had so I got a new DualShock 4 controller last year on Valentine's Day, and now it's starting getting drift.
Damn.
Like last
at least
week.
the DualShock 5 will be fantastic.
I can't wait.
That's
to
what
see
I
that
think.
tank.
It works.
I was gonna add to the whole gaming experience thing was that like you ever go to a movie and like you love the movie so much that you're just like, oh my god, I want to be there.
Yeah.
That's what games do. I watch superhero movies. You know how much I want to be there kicking ass with them. You can do that in video games. You can.
That's exactly
your own
how
character.
I felt when I played Spider-Man. I was like, when I first played Spider-Man, I was swinging through the city the first like 5 minutes. I was like,
dude, I had goosebumps, bro.
Dude, the first opening scene had the biggest grin on my face.
It's so
like,
great.
I know, yeah.
The feeling of swinging was so well crafted and so designed so incredibly well that you truly did through that entire game feel like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It was only that. It's like those first 5 minutes explain Spider-Man way better than his other movies. And it's coming from a Raimi.
Oh yeah. Like just panning over his apartment. That's all you need.
The fun, the joy, the excitement, and the experience of Peter Parker. Oh my god! Like I never forget. That's like one of my best gaming moments of this generation.
Mine too.
Just Peter Parker in his apartment, jumps out, swings. It's like, are you kidding me right now? And I just knew for a get go, this is going to be an adventure, and I was right. Yeah.
Even in the name of Spider-Man, there's a hyphen. There's Spider and then Man, and then it's about both of his lives like crossing over with each other. I mean. Even like, and we're not getting that year one shit either. We're getting like 4 or 5 years. He's 23. He's late on his bills. He's trying to juggle his relationship with Mary Jane and then also trying to protect the city and stuff.
Yeah, he's got a job and all that.
Then
shit
we
too,
have like freaking. I know, like I love Spider-Man to death. That's a really great game, but God of War is a completely different level. If you play the original God of War games, you just hack and slash. Kratos angry.
Right.
But if you played this one, it's like a mature. It's like a Last of Us 5 God of War game, and it just works
Kratos
so well.
Grew up like the sensibilities of Kratos grew up.
Yeah, Kratos grew up by far,
and that's what I love about. Far. So like in this generation, I felt like it was all about. The last 3 years of the generation was all about revisiting nostalgia and kind of the things that used to make us happy, kind of like new gen. But I think people like, who the fuck made Spider-Man? Who was it?
Insomniac.
And then the developers of God of War, who I also don't remember the names.
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica, yeah. San Diego.
Those two studios understood something that's fundamentally key in making games from this generation work really well, which is like take something that if you're doing something that exists already, grow it up add some interesting thematics, mature a little bit with it.
Yeah.
Read the sensibilities of the story and then sort of add something to it, which is why I think God of War and Spider-Man were so successful games. And it's why I think The Last of Us 2 was such an amazing game. Even though the game design may be a little bit dated, The Last of Us 2 is the best narrative that I've seen in a video game in the last 3 years. It's
I think it's the
what'd you say?
The way The Last of Us 2 was something I never seen before in a video game. How it's taken very seriously. The motion, I never contemplated a mocap game in a game before.
The animation for The Last of Us
the
was
mocap,
incredible.
Story,
the acting is superb.
And the criticism, like when people tell me like, and I respect your opinion and stuff, but when people tell me this game is awful, I completely disagree. That game is like from a design, like what Bryan said earlier, from like design standpoint, that game is top tier.
Which one?
We don't think we had anything like that this generation. Maybe to like at least
Last
God
of
of
Us
War.
or
But
Last of Us 2.
Like the way the game just straight up made, really great.
I'll just take your word for it.
I'll tell you guys 2 words that can describe those games. Those 2 games, they are extremely well because they literally let you embody 2 different things. With God of War legitimately lets you embody what it's like to be a father.
That's true.
Like going through that parenthood and like, you know, dealing with a child, dealing with the loss of someone you really depended on, and then having to take care of this child that you really never had connected with before, and you watching him grow and stuff. And through the gameplay of that game, of you showing Atreus like how to shoot and then all that stuff,
the final
it
boss
is extremely and emotionally well crafted.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you have Last of Us Part 2, which is revenge.
It's all about trauma.
Anger. It's trauma. It's taking trauma and turn into revenge, and then at the end, forgiveness. And it makes you ride a roller coaster of emotions.
Well,
it's insane.
even the Last of Us, even, and I'm gonna stop talking about The Last of Us because that's a whole podcast in itself. But The Last of Us, even, is talking about. So abuse is a cycle. There's a cycle of abuse. Someone abuses you, you take your experience, you internalizes them. The next chance you get that you have the opportunity to get a victim, subconsciously you start perpetuating the same abuse. The Last of Us is just a cycle of abuse that went on after the apocalypse, and Ellie breaks that cycle for the first time. And the thematic of Last of Us is break away from the cycle of abuse and violence because it does nothing but beget more abuse and violence. And Last of Us did that and showed you that theme while making you feel absolutely empty inside by the end of the game. Last of Us was one of the 2 games.
Oh my God.
I finished Last of Us and I didn't even cry. I just went like, fuck, I am depressed.
I'm exhausted. You felt exhausted in a good way.
It really is.
Like, that was something.
I think that this generation, Sony specifically, kind of blew it out of the water with their narratives and introducing really good gameplay mechanics into the games. Whoever they hired to make their exclusive really understood how to make a mechanically solid game.
Yeah, I think Insomniac does that well. Not everyone can say, like, for example, the Telltale games. The games suck, but the story's fantastic.
The gameplay is pretty bad.
Insomniac can do both gameplay and story, and not a lot of people can do that. Well, I think I'm a big Uncharted fan. And I think Uncharted 4 does the exact same thing, where it's like, Uncharted 4 is fantastic. I replayed that too before God of War.
I want to play
it. Like, he's my favorite PlayStation character, Nathan Drake, and like to see his final adventure and how he just like missed being on those adventures and how he had to deal with his marriage and all that stuff. Like, he's constantly lying to his wife. Like, it's really good. You know, like, I wish we could have that character again. Like, the thing with PlayStation is when they end the franchise, they're done. They're not gonna like milk it. and you may see that from Spider-Man.
That's what I fucking love about Sony's attitude towards gaming. They release a good franchise. So I was like, that is the end of that franchise. Let's come up with a new one. Xbox has been milking fucking Gears of War and Halo for fucking 20 years.
Yeah, they've really beaten that dead. Well, I think if Scalebound could have did well.
That wasn't an Xbox centric game, to be honest. That should have been on the PlayStation.
Which one was it?
Right, because
it was an Xbox exclusive. What?
It was a Western RPG.
Gotcha.
or it was a JRPG that they brought to the West, and it
wouldn't
ended
be
up
Alex.
failing.
It got canceled.
But it was supposed to be one of their big next
Big IPs.
flagship titles.
I would say like, even though like, I guess it's a hot take. Like I like Ghost of Tsushima.
I love Ghost of Tsushima.
But the overall story was weak, I think.
I think that game had the comic mechanics of that game. I think carried
absolutely, because the story
for the
was
most
pretty
part.
fucking lackluster.
Yeah,
And the character too, Jen, the main character. I don't hate Jen. He's no Nathan Drake or Kratos or Peter Parker.
I
And not
also
'cause his
don't think
first
they were trying
appearance.
to make him a Nathan Drake or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Even
Ghost of
still,
Tsushima is a
still
one-off.
bland.
It's over.
I don't think so.
I really like
think it'll be a
Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was really a good celebration to end the PS4 era, because it really pushes the hardware up to like a really spectacular way. Like it optimizes all that the PS4 hardware.
The
can
world
do.
is
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's a really beautiful game, and I'm really glad that I got to play The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima back to back.
That was
Yeah.
incredible, right? Months back, like back and
That was
forth.
incredible.
Like you don't get
No.
it often.
And
And we do feel like we have Final Fantasy this year too.
almost exhausting though. Like
Yeah,
to
it
play
is.
two good games like that, like back to back. Like at least give me like 4 or 5 months to recollect myself.
And that's the thing. Like, how we praising like PlayStation's games. Xbox needs that, and I think they would get it this generation. Maybe it's gonna take them some time. It just like Microsoft doesn't have that generational. Everyone talks
No.
about this game, and in the future they're gonna talk about it. Microsoft doesn't have.
they only had that with Xbox and
that killer
360 on the
IP.
Halo. Like that was it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Halo 3 was the last one I can remember that had that generational impact. And they need like Mario. I mean, Nintendo has theirs with freaking Breath of the Wild. That's a generational impact.
I do want
game.
to say Breath of the Wild, the story was good. I don't think it was like cinematic compared to like God of War or anything, but I think that
No.
game really embodied the sense of adventure.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild slaps.
I truly felt
my
like I
God.
was on an
Which is
adventure
what
through that world.
Zelda's all
Yeah.
about to begin with. So yeah,
It's exploration.
I think I think this generation was a beautiful generation for gaming, despite all of the scandals and all of the pseudo political bullshit that we got into with the gaming
Yeah, I
costs
get
and all that. I think that we got a lot of really, really gorgeous pieces of gaming this generation, and I would be sad. I'm not sad. I'm kind of I'm sad to see it go, because as soon as the PS5 gets going and the new Series Xbox gets going, a lot of those consoles are going to be shelved, and a lot of those games are going to be kind of lost in the cultural zeitgeist. And I think that is a shame,
You see my tweet?
because I think we're not done talking about one of them. Wait, what did you say, Tay?
You see my tweet
Yeah,
that
like-
I posted earlier? Like, this is my last week of my PS4.
The
7
strings
good
of love.
years. 7 good
And,
years.
and
for this
that
thing.
makes me
Yeah.
kind of sad, because like I said, we had a lot of gorgeous pieces of gaming, but a lot of those gorgeous pieces of gaming came out in the last years of the generation, the last 2 to 3 years of the generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very excited about the next generation, but I'm not excited about the first 7 months of the next generation. I want to see a year from now
I can feel you there.
where
They're 2 or 3 years from
when
now.
we're seeing really developers take charge of the hardware and sort of
Cyberpunk, take me away.
Fuck Cyberpunk.
I don't know about Cyberpunk. Yeah, Cyberpunk is kind of making me iffy now.
It's not because
I would suggest any of you play it on the next gen console. I think the game's gonna be terrible on the current gen game console.
yeah.
I think it's gonna be a little terrible loading.
Well, was you guys
crashing.
planning on playing on current gen?
I don't
like,
even
If
care
people
about the
just listening to this is like, I don't think that it's not meant to be played on PS4, Xbox.
If I
One
play
at
it,
all.
it's gonna be on PC.
No.
Um,
Yeah, PC is better too, but don't
PC or
play it
next
on
gen.
I'm not excited about Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not.
It's ridiculous
Yeah.
what they doing.
It's a good idea, but I don't need another first-person role-playing shooty game. You know?
I
think
do.
it's that.
I need to have a big robot cock.
What's scaring me is I don't want to be overwhelmed with
Yeah.
this game.
I do.
Nah.
I want my brain to break.
Crockett, your brain is breaking
Really?
every single day.
That's my main critique of this
I have been
generation.
waiting for the game since it got announced back in like 2001.
That was my. This is my main criticism of this generation is overwhelming
Yeah,
large games.
absolutely.
I hate that. And I think Cyberpunk is like when people describe The Witcher 3 to me, I know it's a great game to some people. I do
can't
not
play
want
it.
to play that game because it sounds
I've tried
exhausting.
playing it 7 times and I can't
It sounds
fucking do it.
extremely exhausting. It seems exhausting, and I
You
don't
had to
want.
really want to be in it. But once
Yeah.
you kind of get stuck in it and you start kind of like role playing in your mind, you fucking get lost. I mean, every time I play that game, I get lost in there. I mean, I'm deep in that sauce.
Like Cyberpunk, the world speaks to me because I love that stuff. I want to be
Right.
sucked in the world, but when it comes to like, I just don't want to have that sense of like, gotta do this,
Yeah, thing.
gotta do that.
Which is why I liked Spider-Man 4.
I think
Spider-Man for the PS4.
Right.
Because it streamlined the experience.
It was
For
easy
you. It
open
was
world
like classic
Yeah.
open world game, but you have like 3 categories of collectibles, and then you just get to beat ass, and like it was just fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the kind of game that I really missed. That game. That was like the kind of game that's like Assassin's Creed 1 and Assassin's Creed 2, where like the open world, and maybe because of hardware limitations, had to be sort of limited. I like that limited open world, and I think that this generation had way too much open world with.
Way too many open world. I agree.
I think yeah, it was definitely it's kind of like battle royals. It's a fad to make things open world.
And I think we need to pull that
Like,
back.
Speaking of open world,
I'm saying
What's
that we
up?
need to pull that back. We need to put the open world back and center on making the experience
Yeah.
a lot more solid.
like I was.
Well, I mean,
nice-
I'm fine with an open world. It's just don't make it empty. I mean, don't make it like overly empty with like kind of like how Odyssey had it, where it's like they had so many fucking side quests that were just pointless. Don't make it like, if you're going to make an open world, make it where it's dense and fucking has meaning. That is how you do an open world game. You don't just do it to make it wide and then empty.
No, that was the problem with Odyssey. It was too much content. That was actually a criticism with Odyssey. It was too large.
Well, it was useless. It was useless content. It was like there was no point to do that fucking side quest. It didn't matter.
And speaking of like Odyssey, like the past few days I was looking at Ubisoft games and their yearly open world games, and I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes. Like, this is the same. Aren't people tired of these games? These open world, aren't they exhausting to you?
They're the same people who buy like 2K or something. It's like that same genre where it's like you're buying the same game every year.
Like, look at Watch Dogs. Like, it's just another Ubisoft open world game. There's no charm at all. It feels, what's the word? Like a cash-in corporate game or something. Just to have the sake of that game there in this. I don't know. It just, this generation, I'm gonna be more, I can't wait, strict on what I play now.
I think so too. I think that is, there's just too many options and not enough. Not enough of them are satisfying to me as a player.
Yeah, like the next Call of Duty, I'm not getting that game. I'm not. Even though I love the one before this one, Modern Warfare.
I love Modern Warfare, but I'm
not getting Black
it's
Ops.
360 gigabytes at this point. Like, it's fucking.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get a whole hard drive to play your fucking game.
Imagine playing on a Series S. That's about like 2/3 of your freaking storage.
To kind of loop
Crockett,
back to the
before
topic.
you start,
this generation,
we have about 20
what's
minutes,
up?
so let's start wrapping up our segments, our ideas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to loop back and I wanted to talk about how just crazy the memory sizes of these games have gotten from the start of this generation to the end of this generation. How fucking insanely big they have expanded from
50 gigs to 150.
I mean, gigs used to be big like 2-3 years ago. When it was like gigs were like 50. It was 50 gigs. You're like, damn, that's big.
Yeah.
Remember the 360 came with 60 gigabyte hard drive? That's one PS4 game.
Came for like fucking 6 gigabytes.
See, with me, Jordan, were talking about that one time. It's two parts. There's two factors here. It's one, you're terrible at optimizing games, and it's two, assets are getting bigger because of textures and polygon count. that makes sense. But something like freaking Black Ops, what is the game called?
Cold War, yeah.
Cold War, yeah.
I think that's straight up bad optimization again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like bad
large.
optimization or it's their new engine. Because this started when they made that new engine.
Well, the engine is poorly optimized.
So it was the engine problem.
That might be it.
I think that's the same. There was one Fallout. Bethesda had the same problem when they switched over to their Fallout 3 engine to their Fallout 4 engine.
All right, boom, fellas. Here's the thing, real quick. I watched a video on it this morning. It turns out that games like Minecraft and No Man's Sky, they're able to stay relatively small because they're procedurally generated worlds. Whereas games like Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, they load longer or they're bigger games because all those worlds are handcrafted. With individual textures. Whereas on Minecraft, all they have is an algorithm that tells you, hey, a mountain should go here and it should have that texture. Whereas in order to put a mountain there with textures on it, you have to have a team of 5-10 people do it for this other game.
That's why the PS5 is a big deal, the SSD. We don't have to deal with that problem no more.
Yeah, exactly. With the hard drive or the disk drive, we don't have to deal with it with the HDD
loading.
now.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with those loading of open world games. So like imagine playing GTA 5 on the Xbox Series X or PS5. There shouldn't be no issue there. Because GTA has extremely large loading times.
It's because I think the hard drive uses an actual disk, if I'm not mistaken. And then it picks up that information on how it rotates. So rather than having one piece of data over here where it has to do one full rotation to get to it, you could put that data here, the same data here, the same data here, the same data here. So when it rotates, it constantly has access to that data. With SDDs, that's not a problem.
In a solid state drive.
Yeah, so it always has access to that data.
So then it's just like streaming. It's just scanning it.
Yeah.
On the Series X, I think Borderlands 3 had like a 2-hour 30-minute loading time on the Xbox One X, but on Series X it went to like 7 seconds.
You said 2 hours? You mean 2 minutes?
2 minutes. 2 minutes and 2
hours. Jesus Christ.
I was like, what are you talking about? The game's that long? Or?
Borderlands 3 loading time was awful. People can literally legit check their Twitter feeds and stuff. But now it's like now people can just do it in like at least 7 seconds. So loading times this generation is not going to be a thing.
And that's
go down. Which crazy to think of.
I am very excited about this next generation purely on hardware. Because the hardware is getting to the point where we have the performance there. I don't remember the exact card, but we have the performance in a PS5 of a high-end NVIDIA card, in terms of graphical fidelity. And that is insane because these consoles are $500, $600. The hardware is, even though it's getting more and more proprietary, it is uniquely designed to run this really long scaled or big scale games. And I love that because I want to see the evolution of the hardware play out.
That's what I like when it comes to I'm not making flack on Nintendo, but when it comes to the console, that's what I want. Just a better overall experience. No gimmicks or nothing. Just faster, stronger.
Me too.
That's all I need.
Better, bester, stronger.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Colin, where do you stand on this generation, and what are you most excited about the next generation?
This gen, I don't know. I really haven't thought about it, but now that I realize it, I use my PlayStation almost 24/7. Either I'm gaming on it or I've got Netflix or HBO or some shit on it. And if there's no game that's available on the PlayStation 4, then I hop over to my Switch. I haven't had an Xbox since the OG Xbox. My brother had a 360, and I guess you'd consider it my 360 as well. But I didn't own one since the original one. But this gen, I thought, I I really can't really say a whole lot. I really didn't give much of a thought about the hardware. I was mostly looking at the software, of course, okay, cool, there's a new PlayStation coming out, but what can
Right.
I play on it, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought the PlayStation definitely knocked it out of the park in terms of games. I think PlayStation had, in my opinion, the best library of games. They had a couple like really good remasters, a couple really good ports, couple good exclusives.
Final Fantasy VII remake.
So I really can't say anything about Xbox though. But Switch, I'd say Switch, I wouldn't say didn't win it for me just because, you know, I think the
Right.
PS4 won it for me. But the Switch will always have a special place in my heart. It always, for some reason, playing that Switch just brings me back to those days when I had a fucking Game Boy. But now my
That's
games
exactly
are in
how I feel
3D
about the Switch.
and they're not pixels.
That's how I felt about playing Odyssey. I just missed that fun factor
Mhm.
of video games.
Mhm.
Just,
But I think
video games aren't
PlayStation,
fun
in terms
anymore.
of
Just-
games, just knocked it out of the park. I think the Switch is the fun console. But in terms of experience and like games that actually like had me like tense my butt and like on the edge of my seat and like chills and crying and stuff, it was PlayStation
Yeah.
with the great games, great storytelling and stuff.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know how much to say about the hardware personally. I mean, I've always been a PlayStation kid, so I went with a PlayStation. That's why I chose mine. I had a PlayStation 1, I had a PlayStation 2, and I had a PlayStation 3. So of course I went with the 4 when it came out. So I mean, it was kind of an easy choice for me there. I wasn't looking at specs or anything.
I was an Xbox. I was a both kid because my parents had money before we lost it all. So I always had both. And then I went with Xbox instead of PS4 this generation, and I regretted it a year after the purchase. Something about after the first year of
Why
Xbox
was
just
that?
didn't have enough games that I found interesting enough. The launch titles like Dead Rising was fine. I bought Rise, fucking Son of Rome.
Son of Rome.
I
You
bought
brought
it.
that game?
I
That's
bought
not
it
a
because
game,
there was
right?
nothing else for me to play. I did not like Dead Rising, and I bought fucking Son of Rome to do something with the Xbox so that my parents didn't think that I spent their money like fucking needlessly.
Yeah, like on
I
a
think-
brick.
The only really good Xbox exclusive that came out this generation was Sunset Overdrive. It's by
Yeah.
Insomniac.
Fucking
they made
great
that
game.
And I heard it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
I just think that
Yeah.
Xbox was really lackluster in their experience. I think they tried to do too much and then did nothing.
Because
As a
they peaked in
consumer that
360
came from
days.
exactly the places you did is like I was hardcore into like the 360 because I came from a long line of like I had the original Xbox, went from the original Xbox I got to a 360, but I really think 360 like blew it out of the water. I mean it's last gen last gen. That's so weird to say because it's now about to be 2 gens old. But yeah,
Oh my
and
God,
then
yeah.
from that hype, I got an Xbox One, and I think they fucking blew it so bad through this generation, which is like there was just no games to play. I mean, all I would ever play is this third party shit,
For
and
me,
then just had to make that. And then when I saw Spider-Man coming out, I was like, "Fuck, dude!" And then at a certain point, I stopped even playing my Xbox. I got a PC, started playing on my PC. Saw Spider-Man coming out. I was like, all right, that's where I'm gonna have to make my move to. So I actually it wasn't even so Spider-Man like was pulling me towards it,
one, wasn't it?
but I wanted to play Persona so fucking bad that I went out and bought a PlayStation, and it's been sweet memories ever since.
Dude, like that's what I'm saying. I'm glad you brought it up. Like when you see PlayStation have like freaking Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted, and you have an Xbox One,
Yeah.
that sucks.
It really does.
Like you're
well,
missing out a lot.
And
of
this
these quality
is
games
like
here.
dated almost, but I mean it's still true to this day. Is like games
Yeah,
will move a console. If you make it exclusive to a console, people are going to buy your console because they want to play that game. It's very simple.
I remember people were like legit like mad they didn't play Spider-Man when it first came out. I remember seeing those tweets.
I was one of them.
Like they're
Yeah, I remember
They
people
missed
being
out.
very
I didn't,
butthurt about
I
it.
didn't fucking play Spider-Man until I moved in with my girlfriend.
I also remember recently the new Avengers game that just came
that
out.
Garbage.
They announced that Spider-Man was going to be a playable character, but only for the PlayStation, and people got really mad about that
It's like,
too.
hey, buy the better console.
for me,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a PlayStation kid. Mix up between Nintendo and PlayStation. But
Yeah.
I think for PS5, I think I'm gonna go purely PlayStation.
I don't know what I personally don't know what Nintendo's gonna do with their Switch. I'm assuming they're gonna keep the whole at-home / handheld idea. But I think Nintendo has always had the game when it comes to handhelds.
By far.
So I think Nintendo will always have that stronghold in that market there.
That's the thing.
Would you guys say like PlayStation had some of the best games, and then Switch had some of the best hardware?
No, I would say Switch had the most fun experience.
They had great software.
Yeah, the Switch was way fun. That's what it was. Like I had the most fun playing the Switch, but I had a overall like a broader / better experience with the PlayStation.
Yeah,
I guess it's for me because just from what I played with the Switch games, they're fun. It just the Switch is just.
I want it to be a little better. I want
Something's
it to be a
off
little
about
better.
I don't know.
They're
what
not
it
taking
is.
advantage of the touchscreen when you're in handheld mode.
Well, there's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they're just skipping out on. There's no themes for the touchscreen or for the main screen.
Yeah.
There's no achievements. There's no sort of like, yeah, we can have friends. There's no online community because Nintendo's so scared of toxicity that they're not going to let you use a mic. They're not going to let you use voice chat. They're not going to let you use text chat. On the Wii U, you had to doodle a picture in order to talk to anybody.
Yeah, I remember seeing Byron do that. Like this little doodle chat they had. What was that called?
The Picto chat, bro. Shit was
great.
fire.
Overall,
Yeah,
they got rid of that too.
The real, like, if there is anything, I think that the term console war is very stupid. But I think
because everyone is running in their own space.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I think Sony and Xbox are.
But I think
like the more like defined competitors to each other. But Switch is doing its own thing.
I mean, not even now. It's like more of Xbox is more of a service type, media type.
Everyone's walking their own paths now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, you go to games, you go to PlayStation, and then for like more like I guess party type situations or like interactive situations, you're going to go towards Switch.
And then Xbox is just ambiguously there. Like Xbox just exists. It's just
that's what it feels like. Exactly. It's just like to me because over time
it's just another option.
The Xbox brand I just start caring less and less over time till the Series X news dropped and they're like okay.
To have some kind of like a final statement before we wrap up the podcast today. I really hope Xbox gets their shit together. And I really hope we on this next generation we see some amazing games come out of them, because I feel if we don't, PlayStation's going to be a monopoly, and we're just going to see mediocre fucking products coming out of them because they don't need to try anymore. Because they already, and they're going to get like what they did with like in PS3 era is like they're going to get cocky.
PS3 hurt them badly. Yeah.
Right. So I really hope because we need a healthy market. I need all these other companies to come out fucking swinging. And I was really excited for like Stadia and like whatever fucking Amazon's thing. I wish they would have succeeded because we need more. We need a vast variety of like these companies doing well.
Yeah.
So Amazon still has their thing coming out too.
Was that the only one that played Stadia here?
Did you play Stadia?
Yeah,
I didn't was playing it, and Tay had a good experience, but I didn't want to go through the faff of setting it up.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because it just seemed.
Brian, all I did was made an account.
No, but I don't want to go through the faff.
I was playing on Google Chrome.
Because I know that I'm fucking gonna have, because
Yeah.
I have shit luck with this kind of bullshit. Where like I go like, oh, just make an account, and then I'm troubleshooting 70 other issues that happen in my computer. It's always happened to me. It's a personal experience thing, but I just wasn't interested in Google Stadia to like deal with that.
I get you.
Well, stay tuned because Amazon's got their thing coming out. I'm gonna try that. I already signed up for the early access.
Yeah, I can do it on my TV.
Be trash until they figure out how to stream a whole ass game efficiently, effectively, and cheaply.
Yeah.
See, Brian, I didn't. Only problem I had
without killing my internet.
The only problem I had was like my quality dropped to probably like maybe
Yeah.
720p, but no input lag at all.
Yeah.
It runs smoothly.
I'm
Just
impressed.
The quality, and I had.
I should
decent
try
experience
it
with
and then
so.
stream it while I'm trying it to like see how it changes my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
thought
should.
about that too. It's probably destroy your game. Don't do that.
Um,
Yeah, you don't do that. Because I thought about the same thing too.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't think that those services
won't
are
do well.
viable yet. I think that they will be, but I think not yet.
Yeah.
I
You can
also
see
don't
something
think
there,
the
though.
like a modern home's internet
Yeah.
is there yet either.
Just
For
that
the average
network
person.
bandwidth is not.
Most people they have internet. I was gonna say most people that have internet they have maybe 1 or 2 laptops and it's usually their phones. Kids like us, you know, the newer generation, we're gonna have big ass PCs. We're gonna be
Right.
gaming and stuff like that. So eventually, in 5-10 years, we're gonna have like quadruple
Yeah.
the internet power that we have now, and streaming will be better
I want
hopefully
Sony
by
to bring
then.
back something like the PS Vita.
So,
I would
No,
love to fit. I low key thought about buying one, but I'm like, why? It's dead.
Yeah. No, as a Sony fan, no more Sony handhelds for me. I think I just stick to Nintendo. I think they really done with Vita, and I have a
I just
Vita, and I
really
love
like
the
them.
Vita.
Well,
But
they have the PlayStation has remote play too, but they're not focused on that
Sucks.
as hard as
That's what-
Xbox is.
that's like remote play was like the Vita, the Switch before
Yeah.
Switch became a thing. Switch
Yeah.
did it right.
You could do it on your
Ooh.
phone now and PC and stuff too.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're not as focused on that obviously because
They
it's
don't
kind of
need to.
garbage.
I don't want no freaking handheld for Sony. So they can like not
Cool.
support it at
All right,
all.
let's wrap this shit up.
But-
We
Yeah.
have 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
Well, guys, if you liked this episode, you can give us a like, share, subscribe, comment what you think of this current generation, or you're excited for the next generation too. I don't think Bryan stated it, but
Yeah, bro,
we're
I'm ready for that
currently
Xbox 720, dude.
Remember that? The
Please,
blue logo?
why? They blew it. They blew.
guys
You
remember-
blew it. You could have had the Xbox
You guys
720.
remember the console designs for like what the PS5 would be back in 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember like the YouTube videos? And
What is the
shit?
song? What is the song for it?
Bodies.
It's
I saw that one, and then I saw "Numb" too by Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I've
No,
never seen one of
no. What
those.
is the hypno one? It's like a
Oh,
it's like techno.
Trance something. What is it? Dreamscape?
Dreamscape. Yeah, you got it.
You got the iPhone like 100.
I think
It's
that's
like-
probably the best way to end this is to play some Dreamscape.
Yeah. It's not
All right,
copyrighted
everyone
too,
go
so I'm
stream
straight.
Thank you
Dreamscape.
guys.
Yeah. But we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts and
Yeah.
type in Drunken Ship Podcast on those platforms. And you can listen to this, which I actually kind of recommend because the quality on those freaking
Oh,
things
yeah.
are fantastic.
They
I'm not
really
sure if it's
are.
me or
Mhm.
the software.
And if you guys like
but-
it, give us a good rating. So
We can get up. We can climb.
Oh,
yeah,
Give us
it's
a
started.
review.
Yeah.
yeah, don't forget to give us a good
Yeah,
rating.
give us a
5-star
little
rating.
review.
You remember that from YouTube?
Yeah,
Give me
I was
5
thinking about
stars,
that
please.
today. The 5-star rating on YouTube.
But
But
anyway, guys,
That's it.
thanks for
But yeah.
watching.
Well, cool. Thanks for watching, guys.
Cool.
thanks for
It was
watching,
fun.
guys.